Language is one of the factors bringing us closer to integration, even on a daily basis. Going to a shop and asking for a simple bag of apples, for example, feels much better when we ask in Greek. Cypriot people are very kind. They appreciate even the effort, even if it's not grammatically correct. They do appreciate the effort of foreigners who are trying to speak the language. I never had feeling that I'm not welcome. So Limassolian people are indeed very helpful, very kind, and they like diversity, I believe. We need to have respect for ourselves to start with, respect for people that we shared our daily routine with, and respect country who gave us possibility to make a new home. Town planning, this is another aspect. Look at the traffic, look at the noise and pollution from building of construction work, lack of parking, lack of green areas, green parks. Perhaps these are areas which we should focus on, because we as living here on a daily basis, we do need to have good quality of life. Maritime and shipping, being in Limassol, it is inevitable that we encounter maritime law, and we find passion in it. By giving, we grow. I see people only taking. So walk by the sea, enjoy the moment, enjoy a nice Cypriot sketo.
People, stories, social issues, environment, sports, arts and culture, life, urban issues, innovation. This is the El Air Uncut.
Welcome to Limassol Ambassadors, the podcast series of El Air Uncut channel that talks about diversity. Here we have with us weekly citizens of Limassol, but very special citizens that want to make a positive impact, citizens that are paying attention to the city that they are living, the city that they call home. Even though they are not all from Cyprus, in fact, our Limassol ambassadors selection are all foreigners. I like to call them internationals, like myself, that have been living here for many, many years and have a best way of showing us that diversity can be a plus for the city and the future of Limassol in this case. Today with us, I am very, very happy to have someone very special from Slovakia. Her name is Sonia, and she is going to tell us a lot of her stories as a lawyer, as a mother, as a very active citizen in many different spheres. She will tell us more in a while. But the most important of all is that she loves Limassol and she promotes Limassol wherever she goes during her trips, during her holidays, and she's going to tell us how. Thank you for being with us, Sonia.
Thank you very much for inviting me to share my story.
It is a pleasure to have people like you here with us, because through not just speeches or promises, through your actions and your living experiences, you can really tell us how it is to be an international in Limassol, and how it works as well for Limassol, not just for you. In terms of your professional career, you can be considered a very successful person, and especially a very successful woman in Cyprus, in your industry. But to start, I would like us to first tell us, how do you feel as a Limassolian? I mean, how is it for you to be in Limassol on a daily basis? Tell us a little bit about it first.
Thank you very much, first of all, having me. Being in Limassol, which I do consider as my home, after being here for 21 years, I can clearly say it's living here. It's pleasure, very enjoyable, There is some stress. I can't say that living here is without stress. And we can see that in our daily routine, starting from switch on the car, being in traffic, stuck in traffic, seeing all the accidents, etc., etc. So we do need to be a little bit patient, obviously. But certainly it is enjoyable for me as an international person or European citizen, actually, living, working, and caring for my home and family in Limassol.
So family, it means that you have also children here with you?
Yes, I do have one daughter. She's 16 years old. Multi-language daughter.
So you had not just to experience the process of integration as an adult, you came already here as an adult, but also now you have the process of integration of your daughter in a completely different setting, because she is the result of a mixed marriage.
Absolutely correct. Yes, this is correct. But let me start. First time I actually came to Cyprus, it was December 1996. So pretty much I was relatively young, still finishing my high school studies. So I can actually understand the difference of how Limassol was and how it is now, and as well how it was when I came and relocated here permanently in 2003 after my university studies finished. Obviously, I see a lot of changes, positive changes. They are more or less connected as well when Cyprus joined European Union. We see the influx of funds, which did allow, apart from obviously other sources, but partly I believe this is the major of focusing on refurbishment of certain areas, planting, making places which are around us more beautiful.
Do you enjoy those new areas? Are those new areas part of your daily life?
I mean, daily life, certainly we see them while driving, while jogging, while doing some kind of outdoor activities. And this is obviously, it's very pleasing to our eyes. We see grass, we see some new parks, new areas which were not there when, let's say, when I arrived, and they are here. Every time I pass through a different area of Limassol, I see, well, this wasn't here now. It's something new again. So Limassol is like a ever-changing city.
We feel those changes, even though, of course, we could, most of us, we all wish them to be even more systematic and more, even bigger. But it doesn't matter. For now, I think the important thing is that we can already feel and say that the change has already started in the last 2 decades at least. So from those places that you use on a daily basis, what are, let's say, the spots that you could offer as a suggestion to other internationals that are listening to us as good spots to enjoy Limassol? Show us in the map, if you could.
Certainly, Limassol has such a great advantage. The city located on the sea, by the coast. We have sea. This is something which no one can take away from us. And certainly walk by the sea coast, enjoying the view, listening to the waves, seeing the birds, especially now during the spring, is just absolutely fantastic. If flowers are blooming, we can smell it in the air. And spring is particularly very special before the heat and humidity come. Yeah. So walk by the sea, enjoy the moment, enjoy a nice Cypriot sketo.
Sketo, it's a coffee.
It's Greek a coffee
for those who don't know what sketo is.
Sketo without sugar.
Yes.
This is what I would certainly recommend to any international person coming and who wants to explore Limassol. So it would be, as we call it, tourist area, sea coast, as well as Curium Beach area, which is very special. with all the beautiful architectural and ancient archaeological sites, stunning sea view with Aquarium Beach, yes.
And even while you put the pins on those two spots, I would like as well to highlight the fact that Curium, for those who come to Cyprus and they would like to also have the idea of how to understand better the culture, the local culture, I find it crucial to take the opportunity during summer and look for THOC, which is the theater organization in Cyprus, for THOC productions that usually take place precisely in Curium. And the Greek tragedy in Curium, it's one of the most beautiful moments I feel that we can have in Limassol. It's something that stays forever in your mind, especially if you have moonlight. It's amazing. I believe that it's a very good spot for people to explore in a different direction, including a cultural aspect.
Absolutely.
What about your connection with the culture, with the language? How difficult, how long was it, your integration, let's say? Did you do some sort of Greek lessons, or how did it work with the language?
I will not lie. Greek language is difficult, and especially for Slavic nation, similarities are rather nil. So we do need to start from beginning. Language is one of the factors bringing us closer to integration. Without language, it's rather difficult to feel fully integrated, even on a daily basis. Going to a shop and asking for a simple bag of apples, for example, feels much better when we ask in Greek. And what I can say that also Cypriot people are very, very kind. They appreciate even the effort. Even if it's not grammatically correct, they do appreciate the effort of foreigners who are trying to speak the language. Well, for me, it was, given that I'm a Cypriot registered lawyer, the exams are in Greek. So indeed, the process of learning the language, focusing on legal Greek, reading the legal documents, was rather challenging. However, as I used to say, and I do say to my daughter, nothing in the world is impossible. It's just when we set a goal and we aim for the goal, hoping, of course, that we will succeed. But even if we don't, it's already a big victory that we put an effort into something which we always wanted to achieve. And I can certainly say that I'm very grateful for the opportunity of learning the language, going for it, and succeeding, because this gave me ability to freely practice the profession which is regulated.
So you really had to dive very deep there into the Greek language. It's not just to have a daily chat, is to be able to be in court and deal with Greek cases, at least with Greek clients, let's put it this way.
Indeed.
So what is the word that until today you either remember as a difficult one, or what is the word that you use maybe on your daily lives?
Immediately, what comes to my mind, but it's going to be rather a letter which made me one of the most problems, and it's a word which we all need on a daily basis, and it is toilet.
Oh, right.
It did take me a really long time to remember the word toilet or the lavatory.
Oh, right. Okay. Do you remember it? Do you want to say it?
Αποχωρητήριο.
Wow.
Yes. This one was very difficult for me.
It does, yeah. It
Maybe
does
not
make
appropriate on this channel, but this is answering your question with immediate response. This would be
That's what
that
you
word.
want. We
Yes.
want to have real stories here,
Yes.
real people with real stories. Well, yes. I mean, the good thing about Cyprus, though, that you might not find in many areas of Greece, is the fact that here people are so open towards foreigners in general.
Correct.
And they are definitely willing to understand anything, even if they don't know very well how to speak English. They will kind of make an effort, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So I'm sure that if you were somewhere and you would say, well, where is the toilet? Again, you would get you'll get an indication.
Yes,
so
yes.
this is the beauty of Limassol. It makes us feel welcomed at all stages, isn't it?
I fully agree. And personally, I've never had any bad situation. People are always, regardless from the very start, when I came here fresh from university, not knowing the language, not having friends, not being part of any group or society which would gather any other Slovaks together, I never had a feeling that I'm not welcome. So Limassolian people are indeed very helpful, very kind, and they like diversity, I believe.
And from everything I have lived so far, already more than 30 years in Cyprus, and from what our guests here tell us weekly, respecting the locals is definitely one of the major ways of opening, let's say, our path when you come to a new country, isn't it?
Absolutely. Not only that, without respect, we can't even ourselves proceed in life. We need to have respect for ourselves to start with, respect for people that we shared our daily routine with, and respect country who gave us possibility to make a new home. This includes not only legislation and laws, regulations which are applicable, but as well appreciate and respect environment that we live in.
Yeah, so it's definitely a mindset and an attitude towards life and towards people. That brings me now to the other part of our conversation, which is your, let's say, professional path here in Cyprus. And the respect point is very important, I would say, for all sectors, but definitely very crucial for your area of activity, which is law. How was it for you at the beginning? How much respect did you feel as an international, as an European, being at the same table with other Cypriot lawyers? How was the whole, let's say, integration into the whole, let's say, class of lawyers in Cyprus?
Clear. Well, I came to Cyprus fresh from university. I finished my master degree in 2003, which obviously focused on Slovak, European, and international law, which did not include laws which we have in this geographical region, specifically in Cyprus. So obviously, it wasn't an easy path for me. I came here with zero knowledge on Cyprus law, and specifically, this would include and require, this would require that I would need to make additional courses, self-education, focusing on certain areas of law which I did not cover in my master's degree. And certainly I would encourage anyone, because I do receive a number of questions from whether people from Czech Republic or Slovakia who find my story rather inspiring. What do we do in order to have what you have? And I do say that it requires a lot of hard work. Becoming a Cypriot registered advocate, as I said, it requires being part of the law firm, having required prescribed experience sitting the exams. And obviously this needs some time, doesn't happen overnight. But whoever wishes to pursue such career, as I said, there are so many options which we have in front of us. We just need to pinpoint which goal we want to follow, what's our aim in life, whether or not we want to be part of the society, because we are part of society. In our profession, it's a legal society. And by us giving to people, we fulfill a certain human part on ourselves. And this is also helping people. So for me, it was a long journey, not easy. It required a lot of sacrifice on my side, also from my husband's side. Needed to help with my daughter, picking up, collecting, etc., etc. So
proper sharing,
absolutely,
of parenting. That sounds
Yes.
a very good example as well.
So
what about the sectors? I interrupt you there just
Yes.
because you mentioned that there are many options, there are many areas. I have
Correct.
here your bio. It's a lot of pages, so we are not going to go through all the details.
Yes.
But I see that one of the areas in which you focus is the shipping sector. Tell us a little bit about it. Was your choice? Was
Yes.
someone else's advice? How did it happen?
When I came back in 2003 to Cyprus, I was just going through Cyprus Weekly, a very nice tool for back then, which existed for the international people living in Cyprus to get information. There was a lack of online and information getting instantly on our screens as we receive it now. So we relied on Cyprus Weekly, and I found an ad for a ship management company, and this is where my journey has actually started. I started with shipping and maritime law, continued with some additional learning, whether it was in Cyprus through Cyprus Shipping Chamber, as well as through getting and obtaining master in maritime law through a London-based university. Basically, this being the case, we can enhance our own portfolio of industries that we find some interest. Law is absolutely fantastic field and industry where a student, a young professional can experience different areas and finding its own or her love and passion. And certainly maritime and shipping, being in Limassol, it is inevitable that we encounter maritime law and we find passion in it.
So you did something which is always very important, is for us to look through the options in the local market. And, you jumped at that opportunity. After you jumped at the opportunity, I'm sure if you stayed so long is because you start enjoying it as well.
Yes.
Right? What about for today? What advice would you give to, let's say, a young lawyer coming from another country, not speaking Greek? What would you give as an advice based on your experience and your knowledge of what is happening today, which might not be exactly the same thing as when you arrived? What would you say as an advice in terms of shipping? Is still an interesting and valid path for a younger lawyer to take?
Certainly. Shipping law has a lot of options for any young professional. There are so many elements one can find herself or himself in it. We can specialize in one area. However, it's one area cannot live with another. So we do need to we need to understand complexity of shipping law as such. Certainly very important is to have as well first-hand experience, for example, working in a shipping company, insurance company, shipping insurance companies, forwarding, port management companies, there are so many different elements. And absolutely spectrum, when we combine all these, we can understand the diversity. And what we want to pursue thereafter, it depends on each person's individual preferences.
And in this sort of setting, I would like to ask you something else, because I happen to be lucky enough to share this experience partially with you. Let's say that, first of all, I feel we have a very common sort of tendency. We like difficult things. We like difficult challenges, and we enjoy to go out there and reach those objectives, as you said. And I remember that I met you when you were doing something else for the shipping world, not just as a professional. In fact, you were contributing on the side to an association that you were one of the founding members. And this association shows, I would say, one of the very important facets of your character, which is the fact that you are out there trying to help women to become professionals and strong individuals. And in this case, it was the association that had to do with women in shipping. Tell us a little bit about that sort of contribution that you did for WISTA.
Yeah. Well, we go back a number of years, actually,
Yes.
if I'm not mistaken, more than 10 years ago. A very interesting initiative happened back then. We were actually 3 ladies, including me, in one coffee shop. The idea came up. And it's so interesting from an idea which is formed in each one of us' mind. We work around that. We go through the proper registration process, because yes, indeed, this association is a non-profitable association, and it's one of the national association worldwide, because WISTA Cyprus, it is an international platform. And seeing it from an idea, how fast it had transformed into a very successful, I believe to say, association, having a number of members in Cyprus, participating in so many international conferences, organizing an international event in Cyprus back then. I'm very proud that I was there. I was one of these very few ladies, and I'm very happy that the association is growing, and from what I understand, it's as well very successful.
This, I believe, is just one example of your volunteering activities. This is the only one that I had the opportunity to witness. But I'd like you to tell us a little bit more about other initiatives that I know that you are involved, because I would say that on the 5 main, let's say, advices we could give to anybody that comes to Limassol, in fact, any foreigner that moves to another country, I would say that one of those main 5 points would be to integrate in associations, be part of initiatives that are out there. It's the best way for you to feel, first of all, other internationals, how they are and how they live and what they can give you as an advice, but also to feel part of something. Personally, I believe it's one of the key parts for anybody to take in the very first weeks, if possible, when they move to a new country. Tell us a little bit more about then your other initiatives in terms of volunteering.
Well, you are absolutely 100%, because this is what I felt back in 2003 when I relocated here on a permanent basis. No friends, no language, no guidelines, not knowing where to go. It was rather difficult and challenging step. So certainly having a group of your own nationals, people that speak the same language, because language is indeed very, very crucial. There are people who come to Cyprus with no language, no
Not even
English.
English, not even English, I know, yes.
So I tend to agree with the statement that once we are in a new country, brand new country, it's very good to find people who speak the same language, people who have already encountered daily life, who can perhaps give us some kind of a guidelines, guidance, what to do, where to go, where to arrange, for example, a permanent residency. For example, these simple things. And at the moment, I can say I am a president of the Slovak Cyprus Friendship Association, and one of our own initiatives and goals, which we do want to show to not only Slovaks but as well friends of Slovakia and Cyprus, is to be there for them, to assist them. If they have questions, they know where to go, who to ask. We are creating as well a network of Slovaks who do something special, let's say in Limassol. And it starts from, let's say, car mechanic, for example, coaching, for example, shop, and or a Slovak shop. If someone may need something
national
yes.
Right.
So there are a number of contacts which now we know who requires what, and we can assist. And one of my giving, as part of we can call as a charity work or voluntary work, is to help as well people. And over the years, and this is one of the part of my my giving is as well when we have people who are in need, and there are many people in need who cannot find answers to certain questions, then they know where to go as well for legal assistance. So we try to give a little bit of ourselves, because by giving, we grow.
100%.
And it's very important to still have this ability of giving. Because nowadays, as if we forget to give, I see people only taking. So it's nice to have and give this message to our children as well.
Very, very deep words and very deep advice indeed. By giving, we grow 100%. And in terms of cities, diversity in cities, as it is the focus of this program, I would say that if we don't get out there to collaborate with others, we will never understand what the other person thinks and how the other person can help as well. So if you are in any sort of initiative that is, first of all, an initiative towards giving to a specific group of people, you always end up by meeting others that are like yourselves, people that want to make something good for the society, and you will end up by coming out with other ideas, other kinds of collaboration. So it's like a never-ending sort of loop. But the first step is that you have to get out of the house and participate in those initiatives. Otherwise, you'll not get into the loop. You'll always be outside as a witness. Nevertheless, witnessing is also important. And we were talking a little bit before we start the podcast, we were talking about areas that you have spotted. So it's also important to be a citizen that pays attention and sees where are the problems in order to afterwards try to become maybe a solution designer. So you were mentioning something very interesting that I had no idea. There is a street in Limassol with the name Bratislava. Tell us a little bit, what did you see there?
Yes, Bratislava Street. Bratislava Street is in Kapsalos area, if I'm not mistaken. This is the correct name of the area. And it was on the 13th of October 2010. So we go a couple of years ago, whereby a beautiful little park, actually. Little park was inaugurated. It's called Gate of Friendship.
Gate of Friendship.
Slovak sculptor Mr. Michal Šuda made an ornament or sculpture made of ancient rocks which came out from old Limassolian buildings. Okay. And he created a gate. And this should show connectivity of two nations, Slovaks and Cypriot people, bringing them together in their circle of friendship. They managed to plant as well a number of olive trees as a symbol of peace. And this is a really very nice idea of not only calling a street Bratislava, but having a gate of friendship, which again we are going to the point of having friendship, having associations, having circle of people who in need can assist. Things that I mentioned earlier. So unfortunately, the other day fortunately in that case, I can say I was passing by with my daughter, and I said, "Therese, come and have a look at our park." We came down from the car, and to my surprise, the park was covered in graffiti. Graffiti with not nice pictures, because a graffiti, yes, can be considered an art.
Yes, there is graffiti and graffiti.
Correct.
Yes.
So this was certainly not an art.
So it was an insult, basically, to something that was put there for a very, very different reason, exactly the opposite. So whatever someone wants to write with graffiti, it can choose other areas. It doesn't have to be on such an important monument. This is one of the aspects that shows that there is nothing perfect, even though we both love Limassol, and that's why we are sitting at this table together, even though we can enjoy the positives of diversity, we are also paying attention to what happens around us, and there are definitely areas that need improvement. And I would like then to ask you, because you are paying attention and you are really interested in improving Limassol for not just everyone, for your own daughter, for all the daughters and all the sons of the Limassolians today with our ages. What are the most urgent areas you would say should be taken into consideration and something should be done fast?
There are a number of areas. We don't want to only criticize, and certainly it's not my position to criticize, but as an observant citizen of being here for 21 years and seeing the breakthrough challenges that Limassol was going through and the position that we have reached now, there are a number of positive things which happened. However, I believe there are areas which do require improvement, and this is mainly on a environmental point of view. I believe recycling perhaps should be improved, given that new generation is fully on e-apps and on mobiles. It would be maybe a very nice idea to have some kind of a e-app on our mobile phones that we can find some recycling places, not only for clothing, but also for heavy electronics, televisions, fridges, because how many times we drive through, and I do live in a village nearby and we see just these heavy electric machineries or equipment and appliances just dumped in the middle of the streets, in the middle of the fields. So I believe this definitely needs some kind of attention and improvement. Town planning, this is another aspect. look at the traffic, look at the noise and pollution from building of construction work, lack of parking, lack of green areas, green parks. Perhaps these are areas which we should focus on, because we as living here on a daily basis, we do need to have good quality of life. And how do we achieve that? By perhaps not only building on every little spot in Limassol, but as well to allow a little bit of greenery. And
In other words, I would say that what you mentioned in terms of environment and in terms of education, because we mentioned this a bit before we start our chat here, we also have to do some work at home with our own children, and try as much as possible as well to turn all the good practices that we have seen in many other countries of Europe to become our daily habits in the house to start with. Because I believe that everything starts from there. Afterwards is complemented by the school, but everything can be already launched from the first years, when the child is still able to absorb easily and turns everything very quickly into a habit. But I would like to bring here a very interesting story about a school, a public school in Limassol, where my daughter was, Dimotikon, and I feel now that it was we were very lucky, because it was very unique. They started with a project of recycling as a very different approach, which was that they were teaching the children how to go home and teach the parents. And I found that fascinating. We're talking about 20 years ago, so it was a long time ago. But this, I would say, it shows that anybody can do something and can contribute something, even if it's not part of the program, if it's not part of the curriculum. We should not be waiting for new ideas to become from the top down. We can also, as citizens, start little initiatives from our own houses, and the children will take them somewhere else, like this school did the other way around, because we all need to learn from one another, isn't it? I mean, we learn from one another as well as Europeans. I've learned a lot of things from people that come from a Nordic country that we were not doing yet in Portugal, but vice versa. So this is what we should always look for, is to exchange ideas, exchange practices, and then not waiting for something to come as a law or as a new regulation. Don't you agree?
Yes, absolutely. We can just look at the recent example of plastic bags. For example, I mean, this was a small thing, but look at what kind of positive impact it had on people.
Indeed.
For example, it's a small thing, but this is it. Life quality starts, first of all, from home. We set it up in our minds. We have a mindset, and we pass it on to our children, because we live in an environment at the moment. However, environment, our surrounding, will be left for our children. So what are we going to leave for them? Are they going to blame us? Are they going to blame themselves? Who is going to be blamed for having not good quality environment? And mind you, yes, we saw the global warming last year. Not only in Cyprus, it was relatively warm summer, one of the hottest summers, actually, I can say, ever since I came to Cyprus. Look, Spain, Italy, Central Europe. So if we don't do changes, actually now making changes, implementing changes is rather late, but still we need to try from ourselves.
Just to kind of create a bridge here towards another area that I find very, very important in your set of activities, education. You are also now involved in as an associate lecturer in education. Do you feel, through the contact you have with your students who are basically the future of Cyprus, do you feel that there is this sort of sensitivity towards the all society, the fact that they have to contribute somehow to the society and not just to their own careers? Do you feel that?
I believe so. I believe so, not only from the university point of view, but as well from my daughter's point of view. She's a teenager, and I believe nowadays, this is my personal opinion, I believe that young generation do feel awareness. They do understand what's coming, and I don't think they are very happy about that, what's coming. So they know that the changes need to be done, and it's in their hands. But certainly changes should have been done long time ago. Awareness should have been done many, many years ago, not now.
Yes. Unfortunately, we can't go back. We can only go forward, isn't it? So I would say that as long as we are aware, it's the first step, isn't it?
No, of course.
As long as we are willing to, pick up work and start with our small initiatives, things can always improve. And with people like you, Sonia, Limassol will definitely have an extra positive element while you are here with us, because your life just shows it. It's not about promises, as I said. It's about what you have done so far and what you have achieved so far. So thank you very much to be with us here today. And I would say that more stories are coming about more other internationals that are living here with us in Limassol. And as we said before many times, in order to have better governance of diversity in Limassol or any city of Europe, we have to listen to those living the city. We have to be there, listen systematically, and most of the times even have the answers. It's just a matter of putting it all together and make it work with positive attitude. Thank you for listening, and next week we'll have another international that you will be very, very connected with. Thank you.
This is the El Air Uncut.